Hello, everyone, and welcome to Open, the one and only show that opens the Bronx and the rest of the world right to you. I am your host, Darren Hyman. Today, we'll update you what's happening in and around our borough, as well as across New York City. Coming up on today's show, we go front and center talking about how one organization is providing families with resources they need to reach their potential. And then we'll learn about how significant events influenced our next guest on a journey that's pursuing her in a career in MRI technology. And then we'll talk about how inflation is impacting the New York City housing market. And we'll learn about a new program from the Center for Bronx Non-for-Profits at Hostos Community College. We'll give you more details about that a little bit later on in the show. And then finally, we'll discuss the products Fresh Direct is providing for everyone to celebrate during February festivities. So stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way. Right now, we're officially open. And hello, everyone. I am Darren Hyme, and you are watching Open, a live program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast live simultaneously on the MNN channel. Now, you can also stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Well, some things have been going on through the course of the past week, and we'll take you through a couple of them with our Bronx updates. We start off with education news. The Dream Charter School actually had its official Mott Haven location grand opening by hosting a ribbon cutting ceremony. Our BronxNet reporter, Carrie Moody, has a story.
2, 3.
It's a dream come true for Dream Charter School as they celebrate the opening of their Mott Haven location by hosting a ribbon-cutting ceremony. The ceremony was accompanied by several elected officials and our Bronx Borough President, Vanessa L. Gibson.
Today is the official ribbon cutting of the Dream Charter School right here at 20 Bruckner. It is going to house future students in grades K all the way through 12. And this is really a dream come true.
Clarissa Alieto is the manager of community and government affairs at Dream, and she tells us her thoughts and feelings for the new facility.
This was a labor of love. I live in the community. I grew up here in Mott Haven. I went to schools here. I still live here. I work here, never left here. So for me, as a student who went to schools in our community, went to public schools here, I know what this means for a student to go to a school that looks this beautiful, that has staff who really care about them, but also that a school that has the resources that it needs so that students can thrive.
This was no easy task to make a huge warehouse into a loving school. We were lucky enough to go on a tour with staff members of the building, and I must say, it is a beautiful building where students not only can learn, but appreciate the designs around them. Here's a fun fact. Some of the old structures, such as the brickwork and several pillars, are from the original design of the building. So Dream Charter School came in and turned somebody else's nightmare into their dream home.
Going from reality to vision to execution is always a process. So when this building was first opened to us, it was an abandoned building. It had been left in disrepair for many, many years. But there was something about it that spoke to us, which is the natural beauty of this building is in the exposed brick, the amazing steel in this building, the fact that, it has these incredible windows and incredible views. I'm not sure that anyone who saw this building would say, oh, this should be a school. But to us, it is the perfect place for young people to grow and thrive and see their futures develop.
On January 9th, over 400 high school students have started here in the new location for Dream Charter School. And in the month of August, over 1,300 students will inhabit this building. We are so excited for faculty members, family members, and students to enjoy this new facility. For BronxNet, this is Kyrie Moody.
And thank you, Carrie. Shifting gears right now, going to another part of the Bronx in an effort to empower the community to take on their entrepreneurial endeavors. The Bronx Community Foundation and city officials hosted and launched the first ever Bronx Dispensary Showroom. Our BronxNet reporter, Brittany Schuyler Albane, has a story.
In an effort to empower the community through entrepreneurial endeavors, Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson, Senator Chuck Schumer, and the Bronx Community Foundation launched the first ever Bronx Dispensary Showroom, a cannabis retail pop-up experience.
It's an opportunity for community members to learn the business of cannabis from back door to front door, from front office to back office, but to really understand what it means and what it takes to open up a business like this.
Located on 149th Street in Grand Concourse, the pop-up showroom featured a built-out model of what a New York State compliant dispensary looks like, exhibiting the cannabis retail experience.
The importance of it is to expose our community to what a dispensary should look like and would look like. And so we're very, very excited that this is actually happening, that it's here in this historic postal office where it's accessible to our community.
The showroom was open to the public for several days before holding workforce development and educational courses for those ready to obtain their conditional adult use retail dispensaries or CARUD licenses.
And if you're entering an industry, it's important for you to know what the industry looks like. Also, it's important for you to know the compliance requirements of that industry. And so we wanted to bring this experience to the Bronx because people were going out of state to get this.
Moving forward, all involved hope this educational experience empowers others to take on this industry that was once prohibited and put the community at risk to now bring about change for generational wealth for the community. Reporting for BronxNet, Brittany Schuyler Albane.
And thank you, Brittany. And that's all the time we have for our Bronx updates. We're not out of show, so stay with us. Open continues right after this.
¿Qué color? Perfecto, mijo.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo?
Donating to a pet's medical care is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Thank you so much.
Fostering a pet for a friend or neighbor can keep families together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
And welcome back. Cayuga Centers is a not-for-profit organization that's dedicated to ensuring children have a safe, loving home. Now their mission is to help children and families grow as independent, healthy, and productive citizens through quality counseling, out-of-home care, and then support services, no matter what the circumstances are. Now, joining us to tell more details, I should say, is the Chief Operating Officer of Mid-Atlantic Child Welfare and Juvenile Justice Service Programs at Cayuga Centers. We've got Lorraine Sanchez. And Lorraine, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And so you guys do a great deal of work really in that's what we say family support and helping people to really be able to stay connected. Talk to us a little bit about it.
Of course. So here at Cayuga Centers, we offer a wide array of services. Within our New York City programs, we do offer a bundle approach to foster care. We have a contract with the Administration for Children's Services, ACS, where we're able to provide family foster care to children who enter the system, and it could be for a wide array of reasons, whether it be loss of parent or their legal guardian, or unfortunate reasons like abuse, whether it be neglect, physical or other types of abuse. We are charged with the responsibility of ensuring that through our bundle approach, we have a team assigned to our children, and that consists of a case planner, a behavior support specialist, a clinician, a coach, and additional support services, as well as dedicated and well-trained foster parents to be able to provide a loving as well as stable environment to all of our children.
When we talk about foster parents, obviously, it takes a special kind of person. What are you seeing on your end by way of people coming forward saying, listen, I want to be a foster parent?
It's usually individuals who have been a part of the foster care system or they have witnessed their family members, or are meeting us when we're doing tabling events, recruitment events in the community, and they hear about the needs that there are for foster parents for individuals to step up and become foster parents. But I would say that I do have a lot of foster parents who either themselves were previously in care or they saw their parents do that as they were growing up. And so how important it was to be able to open your home and be able to support these young children and young adults who need that additional support.
If a person's out there right now and they're saying, listen, what do I have to do in order to become a foster parent? What advice do you give? And what are the requirements?
Definitely. It's very important. I think across the board, we're seeing that more children are entering care. And so we do need individuals to step up and be able to open their homes and their families to our children. In terms of the requirements, they need to be of age 21. There needs to be a dedicated room for the children. It's very important that the child or the siblings or the multiple children that are placed in their home have their own bedroom. They need to have appropriate sleeping arrangements, so a dedicated bed, a dedicated dresser. With our agency, we ensure that we support our foster parents from start to finish in terms of the certification process. They will have to complete a series of background checks, fingerprints, as well as training to ensure that they feel that they're equipped to provide support and the needs for our children. We do have trainings that are able to support our foster parent with basic things like first aid and CPR, as well as how to manage therapeutic behavior from some of our children. Because as you can imagine, some of the children do have trauma. They come into care with trauma, and it's important that as a foster parent, you're able to support them as they're going through and working through their own trauma.
You've had a lot of time working with clients and families, and give me your perspective on this, because for a foster child or a foster parent, making the right match can be all the difference in the world. I know you guys have done it plenty of times, but talk to us about what do you feel the impact has been for these families once you can get them connected, maybe a child with the family. What has it done in the life of both that child as well as the family?
So I've noticed that we've been able to support families be reunified. I've seen parents be able to do the dedicated work to ensure that they're equipped and able to have their children return to care. And it's always beautiful, and we aim and strive to ensure that families remain together. We think that that is very important. But in cases where parent is not in the picture or parent is unable to step up and be able to care for their child, I have seen some of our foster parents become adoptive foster parents. And it's such a beautiful thing to see how the child is integrated into their family, into their day-to-day. I have foster parents who plan their yearly vacations with our children. Some of our children have been lucky to go to Disney, to go to trips like to Mexico and visit a resort, experience that for the first time in terms of traveling outside of the country, but also have a family to call their own, even if it's a foster parent wanting to become a resource and unable to become an adoptive parent for the child. I do see that there is great improvements in terms of behavior, as well as overall performance from our children, more dedication to school, feeling more connected and being able to advocate for themselves. And they do end up feeling empowered through the support that we as an agency offer, but also that our foster parents do.
Yeah. Lorraine, when one person hears the word foster care, there's just this automatic assumption sometimes, but many don't know that there are different types of foster care. Can you just share with us a little bit about the different types of foster care? Because if you've got somebody out there that's potentially thinking, hey, this might be something I can do, but they don't know, there are different ways that they can get involved.
Definitely. There's different ways. So if someone wants to become a foster parent, and let's say that they are not 100% ready to commit, we can definitely work with them to have them serve as a respite foster parent, and that is someone who is not permanently having a child placed in their home, but let's say that another foster parent has a family emergency and they need to leave the country, or they need a little bit of a break because it can be a lot. And so a respite foster parent is able to serve as a temporary support for the child, and it could be for 1 week period, 2 weeks, a month. And then there's different levels of care when it comes down to foster care. Here at Cayuga Centers in New York City, we offer different levels of care. So we do have children that are part of what would be considered regular family foster care. And those are children that don't necessarily need that one-to-one support as a child who's considered therapeutic. And those are children that need a lot more hands-on, one-on-one support, as well as more clinical intervention when it comes down to the services that we offer. And along the way, as an agency, we provide support to our foster parents from every step. And we do that through making sure that we have staff visiting the home and providing support in terms of any concerns that are going on. Let's say the child is not doing their chores. We work with the foster parent and the child to get an understanding of what is something that we can work out to ensure that, one, the child is doing their needs in terms of the home, like cleaning up their bedroom, doing their bed, as well as providing on-call support 24/7. So it's not that we are only here 9 to 5. We provide support around the clock. And if that means having one of our team members go out in the middle of the night because there might be a medical emergency and accompany the foster parent to the hospital with the child, we are sure to do that at all times, as well as providing support when it comes down to school enrollment, when it comes down to following up, when it comes to parent-teacher conference, the educational needs of the child, as well as for our young adults who are transitioning to college, making sure that we're providing that support to the child and the foster parent as they prepare to enter the collegiate career.
So, Lorraine, give me the best way that people can go about engaging, becoming a foster parent. What can they do and how can they get connected?
They can do that by visiting our website at cayugacenters.org. We have a section dedicated to becoming a foster parent, where there we're able to provide a breakdown in terms of what are the requirements. You see that we have listed in bullet points what is needed in order for someone to become a foster parent. And then one of our team members within 24 hours will ensure to reach out to them, whether it be by phone, whether it be by email, whatever is their preference. And I also do recommend potential foster parents to look at the OCFS, Office of Children and Family Services website, which is a state-based site, and it provides an overview in terms of the rights for foster parents, how to become involved. Let's say that they're not in the New York City region. There are other agencies as well that provide these services across the state.
Well, Lorraine Sanchez, gotta thank you so much. We're going to end it there, but certainly great work that's going on, and continue to let us know how we can be a partner in letting people know about the importance of having foster care and what it means in the life of a potential family. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
All righty. Well, if you want more information, we encourage you to visit the website at cayugacenters.org and find out more information there. We encourage you don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.
Is it time yet?
It's time.
Let's start time for dinner.
Oh, it's really gross.
Pasta dinner.
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
And welcome back. You do know the events that actually happen in our life can actually influence and possibly even shape the way that we take our career. Well, For our next guest, that was her experience as a patient at Montefiore Moses Hospital in the Bronx, where she left wanting to be a medical professional and give others the same solace and care that she received at Montefiore. She recently was awarded over $6,000 in scholarships, which will cover her full tuition. And she's here now to share a little bit more information. And we've got the associate professor in the Communication Arts and Sciences Department at Bronx Community College of CUNY, Dr. Teresa Smolik, and then also student scholar, Hillary Pitter. And thank you both for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So let me talk to you first, Hillary, and talk a little bit about you, because here you go. You are in the profession, and you're going into this profession here. And it's really a medical profession that is based on medical history and personal experience. So for you, talk to me about it.
Well, I actually had no desire to pursue a career in the health field. I was a supervisor at a really popular hair salon in the city, and I was just going to continue doing that. And the pandemic came about, and I just didn't feel comfortable with how they were handling those precautions. So I decided to leave, because I do take care of my father, who is 87, at home. And that year, 2021, that I decided to leave, Father's Day weekend, I passed out at my mom's house, and I ended up next moment in the hospital. I was told that I had a massive pulmonary embolism, and I was in ICU for 5 days. But the way that the medical team treated me in Moses Montefiore was more than I could have asked for. Everybody was gentle, everybody was kind, everybody was efficient, and I just knew that that's where I needed to be.
Yeah. And Dr. Smolik, how did you enter into the fray? Because I understand that she came to you too.
I teach a course, COM 11, and there's a 3-page paper, and so it's about students. You're writing about your co-cultures, the various co-cultures to which you belong, and Hillary wrote this amazing paper about the co-cultures that have shaped her communication style, her self-concept. And it really touched me, really spoke to me, because she wrote about being the child of immigrants. And I am also the child of immigrants, and that has profoundly shaped my experience. And so I related to her paper, and I thought that she really expressed herself very well in that paper. And so when she asked me to write a letter of recommendation, I was very happy to do so. I really got to know the students in that class very well, partly through their writing, partly because it was such a small class. But I really related to Hillary's experience, and she communicated it very well.
So talk to me a little bit about the radiology program and how that works.
So I'm still in my prerequisite year. Well, I just finished it. So I started back school in 2022, and I took the whole year to do my prerequisites. So the program starts in September, and it's a 2-year program. And if all goes well, I would graduate in 2025.
Yeah. And Dr. Smolik, for you, obviously seeing a young lady of this magnitude come tell her story, share her story, it resonated with you, but when you've met her and saw her work and seen what she's been able to do, give us your assessment so far.
Well, I'm very proud. I'm always really proud when my students do well. I thought, throughout the course, I just watched Hillary blossom, I think, and be able to, I could really see her, the way she was responsible, the way she took assignments seriously. She did every single assignment. And so when I was an undergraduate, there were people who believed in me. I had no connections. I had really no understanding of how to navigate the university system and the academic system, and, who to ask for letters of reference, and that I could even get money to go to school. And so people who mentored me have always been in my memory, and I'm very happy pass that, pay that forward, or to do that for new generations of students, because you never forget those people who helped you when you had no idea, right? And being the child, like I was a first generation college student in Canada, my parents really didn't understand anything about what I was doing, other than they really wanted me to do it and supported it fully. So I always remember the women, mostly women, not all women, but mostly women, who mentored me and taught me the ropes.
And Hillary, for yourself, obviously not just this program, but also getting scholarships, right? You got a couple scholarships to really help you to navigate your educational journey. What's that feel for you, being the beneficiary of a scholarship, knowing that this is what I really wanted to do in the beginning, but now that I'm starting to do what I want to do, things are starting to fall into place?
Before I talk about the scholarships, I just wanted to let Professor Smolik know that class was actually the first class that I shared my experience in ICU with anybody outside of my family. So I just wanted to thank her in person, because we didn't get the chance. So I thought I would thank her virtually for giving me that encouragement to share my story with the class, because of that encouragement, I went on to write about my story in my scholarship essays. And again, I was awarded 4 out of 5 scholarships that I applied for. So Professor Smolik, thank you so much. It's educators like you that make all the difference in students like myself's lives. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
That's sweet. That's what we do. We bring people together, hear great stories. That's what we do. But it is really a great story. And for yourself, Hillary, I mean, as you said, you had another career going, and it's what you wanted to do. But talk to us now about how passionate are you, given the fact that you've got this personal experience that is like transcended your life.
This is my life goal now. Like, I need to be rad tech. I want to specialize in MRI and maybe radiation therapy, because I just think my joy to make people smile in maybe their darkest hours would be a huge help in environments like that. But I was by myself essentially in ICU. It was still during COVID times, so I couldn't really get visitors, and I really had to lean on the medical team that was there. And they were just so kind. They don't know me from anywhere, and the amount of grace and attention that they gave me made me know that I need to do that for somebody else that's having their darkest times. And I just need to be there.
Well, Hillary Pitter, congratulations. I think you have a great testimony, a great story. And we want to know, how it all works out in the end. So you got to come back and share with us. And Dr. Smolik, thank you so much for pouring into this young lady and really helping her to be able to get to her life's dream. Thank you so much. It's a great story. And I'm glad that we can be able to share it here on Open. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a great opportunity to talk about, the success of our students. So thank you.
Yeah, and BCC has some great students and also some great
and amazing professors.
Yeah.
And Hillary rocks.
I'll second that. I'll second that. All right. Well, for more information, we encourage you now to visit the website, bcc.cuny.edu, and then also follow them on Twitter and Instagram at BCCCUNY. We got more show. We encourage you to don't go anywhere. Open continues right after this.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa los hombres no lloran.
You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
And welcome back to the show. Last year, mortgage rates doubled and sales plummeted, triggering the longest month-to-month slump on record. Throughout 2022, the Federal Reserve hiked its benchmark interest rate at a record pace to slow the economy and fight high inflation. Now, housing took the brunt of the impact as the most interest rate sensitive sector of the economy. And what does that mean for the housing market right here in New York moving forward? Pleased to be joined right now by the broker and owner of Morris Park Realty Group and Bronx Regional Director at Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, Joseph Costantino. And Joe, good to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Let's get right into it. I mean, when we talk about New York City, obviously seeing a slowdown in 2022, was it what you anticipated?
Actually, as crazy as it may seem, the Bronx is pretty strong. We did have a slowdown in December because of the rates and holidays. But typically in real estate, as seasoned veterans, we're kind of used to this. Spring is usually our busy season into summer. People want to get in a home by the summertime and get their kids ready for school. But the Bronx County obviously did take a hit from 2021, but not too bad of a hit. We took about a 6% decline in sales for the year. But I think because of 2021 was such a strong year in the Bronx, we had double-digit growth for 5 years. So the high interest rates, like high cost of inflation, did hurt the sales, but it's definitely rebounding now.
You talk about inflation rates, and that's what a lot of people had to contend with. But when we talk about that number, you said 6%. To some, that may not seem like, they may seem like a lot, and to others, it may not seem like not a lot. How do you make that 6% out? Is that pretty huge or pretty not pretty huge?
Well, it's a small small decline, but compared to the other counties that were in double-digit negative numbers, Westchester, Rockland, Putnam, in our region, which is like North Manhattan all the way up to Poughkeepsie and further up, we actually did the best of all the regions, which is Bronx County, as far as pricing and sales and activity.
Yeah. We're always getting conflicting opinions about home buying and when's the best time to buy a home. You should buy one, stay away from. Should buy one, stay away from one. Well, I got to bring you into the fray now. For you, talk to me about, is this a good time? Yes, no, or maybe so.
Well, with the cost of rents and the price of, what I see what rents are in the Bronx, you're pretty close to, or sometimes even more than what a mortgage would cost you. So I feel it's always a great time to buy if you have a, good income. Obviously you need good credit, good income. You need some money in the bank. You need to save, and stop wasting money on nonsense and credit cards, and really focus on saving and doing the things that we all, traditionally were taught. It's always a great time to buy a home. I always like to buy a multifamily home the first time out. As a new home buyer, it definitely helps you pay your mortgage. So I recommend to all my first-time home buyers, look at a multifamily instead of the single family. You could always upgrade to that single family home or a condo later.
Mm-hmm. But that multifamily is a good first property to own all the time.
Yes, I think it is. I believe in it. If you have a good landlord-tenant relationship, you become friendly with your tenants. I mean, obviously people don't like to hear that, but I mean, it helps you afford these higher priced homes. So if you're looking at a price home that's $800,000, single family home, that mortgage is going to cost you $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And if you got $2,000 coming in from rent, that cuts your mortgage in half. So I always recommend that as a first home. You could always upgrade to the single family later, and you could still use your FHA loan on a two family as a first time home buyer.
You talked about that FHA loan. I wanted to have an opportunity to talk about that because that for some that don't know, that's about a first-time home buyer's loan, right? And are there particular qualifications that you have to have if you're going to get an FHA loan?
You have to meet a minimum of credit. The guidelines are a lot less strict for an FHA. It's a government-backed loan, and you have to be a first-time home buyer. You have to be a first-time home buyer, but it doesn't have to be your first home. As long as you haven't owned a home in, I think it's 5 or 6 years, you could qualify for that FHA again. So if you had a house, you sold it, and you've been renting, and now you want to go buy another home, you could take advantage of the FHA, but you always want to speak to your banker. As realtors, we just sell and negotiate and market, and I always refer our bankers out to the clients. Sometimes FHA is the right way, sometimes conventional is the right way. Depends on your situation.
Any things that we should be looking out for right about now? I mean, obviously, the winter's upon us, and as you said, it's a little slow when it comes to home buying season. But for the person that's out there, anything they should be paying attention to during this time of year?
I tell all the buyers, just make offers. When you go see a home and you make a list of pros and cons of the home or what you're looking for. Obviously, everyone wants to hit a 10 out of 10 on a list, but if you're hitting 7 or 8 out of 10 and it's in the right area, the right community, close to where you work. If you're working from home, it's great, but that definitely won't last forever. And I always say, if you're looking at a price range, try to pick an area that's geographically close to where you work and where your community is, because it obviously with the high gas prices and cost of transportation, if you buy a home upstate and it's going to take you 2 hours to get into work, that defeats your whole purpose of what you're trying to do is better yourself, and you're just spending more money commuting and you're less time with your family. So, and then you got to have good transportation, good restaurants, good, community safe areas, good schools. These are all things that are important to buyers today.
Yeah.
And just make offers. Like, get out there, you see a home, make an offer. And you don't know if the seller at that point is just ready to take an offer. And it's happened. The house has been sitting on the market maybe for 30, 60 days, and you don't know if they've had offers or what the deal is. So you really just tell your agent, look, I like that house, I like the location, let's make an offer.
Yeah. Joe, we talked about buyers, but I didn't get an opportunity to talk about sellers. Some quick advice for sellers before we go.
Well, I work with mostly sellers. I'm a listing agent, and I pride myself on really putting a good presentation to all my listings. I try to have a good conversation with the seller, provide comps, provide the marketing technology, the assistance always there for them. I got my cell phone with me all the time. Communication is very important when you're listing. Marketing, professional photography, drone technology, everything that's available today to us as realtors. We didn't have this stuff 20 years ago. So you got to really educate the seller of how you're going to market their property. And especially in the winter when we have cold temperatures, you have snow, people really don't want to get out there to go, trudging around with the traffic and the price of gas. So you really need these online tools and these digital technology to help you market your listings. So all that together, obviously good service, trust, loyalty. These are the things, good referral-based network. These are all the things that I try to help my sellers understand.
Yeah, well, I think it's important. I think there's some critical information out there, and certainly want to make sure that we pass that on, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to bring you back and share a little bit more, because as we are, at this time of year, as we know, the winter's just about getting out the door, hopefully, and soon the spring will be back, and things will be back in full bloom. And when it comes to buying and selling, we know that's when the market continues to rise, and hopefully we'll have you back.
Great. Well, we're in February already. We're close. We just got to get to March with no major snowstorms. We'll be great.
Say the word, Joe. All right, Joe Costantino, our guest. He is also the broker and owner of Morris Park Realty Group and also Bronx Regional Director at Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And want to let you know, if you want more information, don't hesitate to go ahead and visit the website. The website is morrisparkrealtygroup.com. And then also follow them on Facebook at Morris Park Realty. We encourage you, don't go anywhere. We got more show coming up. We'll return. Right.
Thank you.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
And welcome back. The Center for Bronx Not-for-Profits is the resource sharing space, which actually strengthens the capacity of local community leaders and organizations that are serving the Bronx. Now, thanks to recent funding that's been given to the organization will be holding a free program addressing succession planning. And we've got now with us the director of Center for the Bronx Not-for-Profits at Hostos Community College. We've got Eileen Newman, and it's been a while, Eileen, but glad to have you back.
It has been a while. It was between COVID and then me getting my own show. I've done 51 shows since I was last on Open.
Wow. See what happens? Yeah. You know, we start you off and then you branch off 51 shows. Well, I'm glad you can come back and share with us.
Yeah, of course. So
we're having, I was gonna say we're having a great conversation right now talking about succession planning. And I think it's something that many times families, businesses don't do, right? When we talk about succession planning. So give us a little insight.
So I started to look at the whole issue of succession planning a while ago, thinking after the pandemic, were people going to think about leaving? And actually, when I first got the job 10 years ago as director of the Center for Bronx Nonprofits, that was a big conversation in the Bronx, that succession planning wasn't really something that was happening. And so to give you an example, an executive director knows they're leaving, decides to leave, tells the board, maybe leaves in a month, but there's nothing done to set anything in motion other than the board thinking, okay, now we have to send out applications, let people know there's an opening, but they don't really look at the organization to figure out, what do we really need? Maybe that leader's been here for a long time, and maybe the organization is somewhat different now. So we spoke to a funder who's been wonderful to us from a New York Community Trust and said, we'd love to do something really intensive about this issue. At the same time, I have to say at this point, at least once a week, I get an email saying that somebody is leaving their organization here in the Bronx.
When you talk about people leaving, obviously the next move is, I got to fill that spot. And hopefully you're able to fill that spot with somebody who's competent, somebody who can do the job. And many times that doesn't happen. And a huge hole comes into a company. And it takes 6 months sometimes, maybe even years, to be able to recover. And succession planning is one of those things that is not always a foolproof measure, but it's certainly a good stopgap measure to prevent that business, that organization from tanking and really going to another level.
And sometimes people come in and they're not a right fit because there hasn't really been a lot of the work on succession planning. And then they have to go through it again. So what our program does is starts with a test, an evaluative tool that the board people, whoever if it's not, maybe it's not even the executive director who's leaving. Maybe it's the head of development. Maybe it's an important program person. So the organization then takes this evaluative tool and looks at what are the things that we need? What kind of person are we going to need to come in to fill this space? Then we're going to follow that with 5 workshops, 1 with executive directors, 1 with, and then 2 with executive directors and the board chair, and then 5 with examples of people who are important to the organization. We're following that with peer learning networks that will go on for a number of months so that organizations can bring people together to talk about their challenges. And then we're also going to be bringing in a coaching element at the end of almost a year. And that's really going to be looking at something that also has been happening a lot. What happens when your organization has had a white leader, has had board members who are all white, and you bring in a leader, a new leader who's a person of color? How does an organization go about doing that in a sensitive way so that people feel comfortable? And so we're going to be concentrating on that in our coaching. So it's succession planning with an equity lens. And we think that this will make a big difference for organizations, and especially now when so many things are changing. It's not just people leaving, but it's people really looking at their organization and trying to define how should they be working, should they be making changes. So we're excited about this, and we've opened up our application process already. We've got some really good people who are looking to examine this. And succession planning really shouldn't start when you know that people are thinking about leaving. It should start almost as soon as you get a job in an organization.
Right. Well, talk to us. There's an orientation that's going to be taking place on February 14th.
Right.
Give us a little bit about the calendar and how people can get connected.
Okay, so what they should do if they're interested in this at all, they should email me and I'll send. It's a 3-part calendar. It's an explanation of all the different pieces, so I can send you all of that. So if you email enewman@hostos.cuny.edu, I can send you everything. And if you just have questions, then email me with all those questions and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. We're going to have an orientation, sorry, I should back up first and say that the registration is due, and I'll send you that material. It's due on the 10th of February. And then on the 14th, as you said, we're going to be having a session to really talk about all the different pieces so that people know, if they make this commitment, exactly what they're committing to. I think, honestly, if somebody else was doing this would cost thousands of dollars. And we are able to, because of the generosity of New York Community Trust, we're able to offer it for free to organizations.
And that's great to really be able to offer this, because I think so many organizations don't think about it until it's too late, or you watch the ones that are highly successful and many times transition, and just having the right person that you can bring along and say, this is going to be part of the succession plan, takes the trajectory of that organization to a higher height. So
absolutely.
It's great. It's great that you're doing it. Great that you're talking about it. And again, February 14th is the orientation. Once again, Eileen, let's give them the deadline.
The deadline is the 10th to get the registration material in. And it's not a big thing. It's basically just a little one sheet, and you don't have to fill that much out. We just basically want to know who you are and that you're interested, so that we can keep in touch as we transition the materials online.
Oh, great. Well, definitely want to let you know that you can get more information by going to BronxNonprofits.org, and you can get all the information there. Eileen, thank you so much. Great having you back on. show, and gotta have you back sometime soon.
Yeah, it was good to be here. Thanks a lot.
All righty. Well, you take care. And listen,
You too.
again, if you want more information, don't hesitate. Go to the website, bronxnonprofits.org. All right, we got more show. Don't go anywhere. Open continues right after this.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches, vaping? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
To the left. To the right. Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Welcome back. Founded in 2002, Fresh Direct creates food experiences and drives simple, healthy solutions to make every day better for its customers. Now, with the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day just a couple of days away, my Philadelphia Eagles, go Eagles, 2 days away, yes. Guess what? Fresh Direct is helping to spread the love this February. And we've got joining us right now a very special guest, the Vice President of Merchandising at Fresh Direct. And we've got Charlotte Meyer. And Charlotte, thank you for joining us. And a very busy February for you, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me. We're gearing up for a fun month.
Yeah. So talk to me about this month, because obviously a lot goes into this month. As we said, the Super Bowl, you got Valentine's Day, African American History Month, all kinds of different things happening throughout the course of February.
Yeah. So we thought this year, with the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day falling just a couple of days apart, what are some kind of fun, creative ways that we could combine those two really cool food occasions? So we came up with a bunch of ideas to help customers sort of celebrate the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day all at once. So, whether it's kind of party snacks that feature heart-shaped items, or using some leftover maybe doesn't sound so great, but using some products that they bought for their Super Bowl spread to make breakfast in bed on Valentine's Day morning, just kind of coming up with some fun, creative ideas for customers to be able to, kind of celebrate both holidays at once.
And so for yourself, talk to us about the holidays. You got Super Bowl. Anything in particular you tell us about what people can look out for during Super Bowl time?
For us, one of the kind of most fun things to do for the Super Bowl is pizza, right? We're, a big New York crowd over here, so we always love our pizza. And something fun you can do with pizza this year to sort of recognize Valentine's Day and the Super Bowl at the same time is to make a heart-shaped pizza. So we have, Fresh Direct instant pizza dough that we sell on the site, and so that way you can just make your own pizza at home, and if you shape it into a heart, you can do a little bit of celebrating for both holidays. Another kind of fun thing to do with pizza is to take pepperoni and cut those into the shapes of hearts, so that you can kind of adorn your pizza with a nice heart-shaped topping.
I know also drinks are of the high quality during this time of year. Everybody's trying to be into drinks, whether it's that frozen beverage or something else.
Yeah, absolutely. So got all kinds of fun drinks for your game day, your Super Bowl watching party. One of my personal favorites is the High Noon Spiked Seltzer. It's actually a vodka-based canned cocktail. So it's really, really nice tasting, really fresh, uses real fruit. So definitely recommend getting a variety pack of High Noons on hand for any of your kind of canned cocktail drinking friends.
Yeah. So for yourself, talk about the planning process. How long is the planning process for you to really get ready for February? I mean, it's rolled out right now, but I know you guys have been in the trenches thinking about this for a minute.
We have. I mean, for us, it kind of goes all the way back to, 6 months ahead of time when we're starting to think about what does the Valentine's Day candy selection look like. But really, when we kind of begin the year, we're really thinking about this big holiday, this big food holiday being the Super Bowl. So starting to come up with some creative ideas around different Super Bowl recipes, different ways to kind of bring new and fun solutions to our customers for the Super Bowl and also for Valentine's Day, you know, whether it's breakfast in bed recipes or, you know, Valentine's Day dinner at home, just coming up with a lot of fun content and inspiration for our customers.
Yeah. Talk to me about your customers. What do they say during this time of year? Are you hearing any particular requests or anything they're asking of?
Well, I think, you know, people are looking for, like I said, kind of fun ways to do Valentine's Day dinner at home. So we always do a really cool program with our meat and seafood departments. We're bringing in kind of the best quality, locally raised kind of grass-fed beef and some really incredible locally raised seafood as well, locally sourced seafood. So we'll do kind of surf and turf, which is always really popular and a big hit for Valentine's Day. We also, you know, we do a really nice selection of Italian products. So we know customers love to do a big pasta dinner for Valentine's Day. So we've got some great, you know, truffles from Italy and pastas imported from Italy and lots of wonderful wines to go with them. So yeah, those are usually the big hits around this time of year.
Yeah. Do you find that that Super Bowl Sunday, there's that mad rush?
Yeah, absolutely. There's always, you know, as much as we kind of all prepare for our Super Bowl parties, there's always that one thing you forgot. So we do get quite a rush on Super Bowl Sunday, especially within our express business for people who need to stock up on some additional beer or additional snacks for their friends. Maybe they've got a few extra folks coming over. So yeah, it's definitely a busy weekend for us.
Yeah. You know, generally when we talk about Valentine's Day, most of the emphasis that people place is on going out, getting that restaurant, making that reservation, doing that. But tell me, are you finding more and more people are actually staying at home to celebrate Valentine's Day now?
We are. I think especially, you know, this year with Valentine's Day being on a Tuesday, it's kind of a midweek holiday. So I think people are really enjoying using the holiday to cook something at home and maybe to learn a new recipe or to cook together. To use that as kind of a fun experience rather than going out.
Well, I want to tell you this, hopefully for both the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day that you are able to handle the rush. And I know it's going to be an exciting time for Fresh Direct because when the holidays come, certainly that's when we see the people come out. And as you said, months and months of planning. I hope that it all goes well. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Darren. It's fun.
And Charlotte Meyer, thank you. Vice President of Merchandising at Fresh Direct. Now, if you want to reach them, don't hesitate to find out more information on the website, freshdirect.com, then also on their social media platforms at Fresh Direct. Well, we come to the end of our show today. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us, and most of all, you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the recablecast on BronxNet's Channel 67. And then also, if you have Verizon Files, that'd be Channel 2133 or anytime on the web at bronxnet.org. Also, you can catch a brand new episode of Open on Friday with my girl, Rena Valentine. She'll bring you the best in arts and entertainment. I'm Darren Jaime, and it's saying until next time we meet, stay safe and make sure to keep this channel wide open.